won't leave my name or number because I'm in fear of Lori. I'm afraid of her because I think she's evil and she's mentally not fit to be in Congress. If President Trump wants
she's not in Congress.
National Guard deployed because Gretchen Whitmer is a communist and hates America, it's damn well they're going to be out. You tell this little ignorant ass that we'll vote her ugly butt right out and all her fake nails and everything. I'm sick and tired of you people committing hate crimes against us. You Democrats are evil. Go crawl up Satan's anus where you came out of because you're going to live an eternal life in hell. Why do you hate us? You hate God. You hate America. I pray that God protects us against you. You are ugly from the inside out, and you're evil. You're full of hate. Why don't you leave us alone, you ignorant bitch? Get the fuck out of our country, you traitor! Go to hell! You're not gonna get your legislation passed. We're gonna vote you out. No bitch!
We're just going to stop that right
It goes on.
because it does go on from there.
It goes on.
Oh.
So this sweet, sweet grandma, I'm going to assume that this person is a grandma from somewhere, left this voicemail for Representative Lori Pahutsky.
Who's in the Michigan House, not in Congress, as this woman incorrectly identified.
You should never let the truth get in the way of a good story, Gina. That you should know that.
Yeah. So she left this voicemail for Representative Pahutsky, and this is one of the reasons why I would never run for office, because I can't deal with that kind of shit. That's fucking insanity. This is what Fox News does to your brain.
Into our DMs,
Come slide
Adrian.
into the DMs, right? But this person has clearly watched a lot of Fox News. If we all remember those old Dare commercials, you don't remember the Dare commercials.
I don't, because I'm too young.
Right,
Yes.
you're too young. But because you didn't live here, there was a frying pan with some eggs. It's like, this is your brain. This is your brain on Fox News. And this is exactly what this woman who should be baking cookies for her grandchildren is what's happening to her.
She's clearly been radicalized by all of the fear-mongering on the right. It's, I mean, her brain chemistry is probably much different now than it was pre-2016.
But can I just point out the cognitive dissonance in terms of calling out the hate speech from the left, which is what she's saying, and this woman is literally screaming hate speech. You're ugly, your nails.
Crawl up Satan's
ass.
Yeah, there's a lot of biblical reference in here as well. So just assuming that she identifies as a Christian person. This is not how Jesus would want you to behave, ma'am.
No, it's not.
No, it is not. So,
oh, Lord, that's just some of the hate we get on our side. But I just want to... Let me just say something nice for once.
Please. You're trying to clean up your
really
reputation.
hard.
Maybe I'm on a nice tour right now.
Okay.
But I just have to, claps for the women in the Michigan House who are,
Yes.
I feel like they're on the front lines and communicating to Michiganders right now, trying to set the record straight. Like, they're really putting themselves out there. People like Lori Pahutsky, who just received that voicemail in August. People like Carrie Reingans, who are out there making videos all the time, and My Song, who's on a daily basis just laying it all on the line. Fucking good job,
claps.
ladies.
And I want to point out
Snaps.
that's absolutely right. But on the opposite side, the men are not. So, people like...
Or their videos are just so bad they don't get in the algorithm and I don't see them.
Maybe that's happening. They're just not that interesting. But sorry, guys, not that interesting. A little boring. But even Mallory McMorrow is out every day doing these interesting, literally putting themselves out there. And I just think, good on you. Someone has to. This is a really difficult fucking time.
It is.
And doing stuff like that puts you and your family
At risk. Yeah.
in many, many different ways. So I feel like, women leading the way again.
Yeah, I mean, you reminded us earlier, when Linda McMahon, the wrestling federation lady who now runs the
WWE, Department of Education, the Worldwide
United
Wrestling
States
Department of Education.
we Rep Natalie Price came down to that picket line. I'm very thankful for our women legislators right now.
I am as well. I think that they're all doing a great job, and despite getting these kinds of hate things, and I run social media accounts for certain candidates, and we see the hate that comes through. You guys see the hate that comes through from the other side, and unfortunately, it's just kind of where we're at right now. Hello, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Point of Disorder podcast. I'm Adrienne.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Gina.
So it's another week in hell. Welcome. It's a little hot in here. We've got
These are our hellmates.
These are our hellmates. We're literally in like second wave summer here in the middle of September. It's gonna be almost 90 in a couple days. And if you're like us and you need to find a way to survive what's going on, likes to break things down for you in the zeitgeist, please give us a like, a follow, share wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on all the social platforms as well, including the full video of this episode. So if you want to see me get clocked in the face with this microphone and more on YouTube, you can find us at Point of Disorder.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like we left here last week when we recorded.
Yeah.
And the world turned upside down.
I mean, it was already upside down, and then it just got even worse, I guess.
So what we're referring to is the fact that our podcast came out last week, and a few hours later, Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Right. We recorded the podcast, and then, literally we're all on a text thread together, and someone said Charlie Kirk has been shot at his Turning Point USA conference in Utah. And then we were all, of course, glued to our phones. And that is kind of what's been dominating the news cycle for the last week. Obviously, none of us condone political violence. We make our voices heard at the ballot box, and that's how we should be doing it. The rhetoric keeps escalating in this country. I think everybody out there who's listening right now can feel it. And we need to find a way to maybe tone it down a little bit. But unfortunately, in the light of everything that happened in the last several days since Charlie Kirk's assassination, there's been a lot of conversation.
Yeah, so let's just back up real quick and kind of, it's the rhetoric, right? So I just want to read a few quotes of things Charlie Kirk has said on his show. These are quotes all from the last 1 or 2 years. Like, these are recent quotes. We're not pulling anything he said 10 years ago, okay? These are all between now and 2023. So Charlie Kirk said, happening all the time in urban America, prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more. Okay, here's another one. Now, these are all abhorrent. I think it's worth it to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have Second Amendment to protect other God-given rights. It's a prudent deal. It's rational. I wonder if Charlie would feel the same right now, but he lived by the sword and died by the sword.
Yeah.
One last Charlie quote. The great replacement strategy. I think we all know what great replacement theory is, which is what he's talking about here. It's well underway every single day in our southern border. It's a strategy to replace white rural America with something different.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone out there who's listening to us is probably familiar with Charlie Kirk by now, if you weren't before in the last week, and some of the violent and hateful rhetoric that he used on his podcast and his other platforms. I'm not going to fire you over you saying his quotes back at us, Gina, but a Washington Post columnist, she claims she was fired from WAPO after she actually posted Kirk's own comments on her social media. I mean, that's how far things are going. People are getting fired over using Charlie Kirk's actual language.
I just want to point out that I did meet Charlie Kirk once at a Turning Point event just last year
Tall
here
guy.
in Detroit. Tall guy.
If
very
you guys
tall guy.
want to check our socials,
Yeah.
I posted the video at the end of last week.
Yeah, yeah. And what I will say is that, he had the right to say any of those things.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech, I 100% stand behind it. There are
First Amendment.
conversations. It's obviously it's an important thing. But he really did stand behind everything he spoke about. It's like how we talk about so much about healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't matter what happened to me, I would always stand behind the quotes that we have on this podcast. And I will say, when I interviewed him and the issue at the time, I asked him about access to contraception. And he obviously had a very strong position that he believed, and he sort of went out there as a strong proponent against birth control.
He many times gave a lot of false claims saying birth control made women crazy. It made them insane. They became liberals because of birth control, making their brains crazy.
I suppose I'm the most liberal then.
And so he did, when I interviewed him about it, he did not deny it. He was absolutely stood behind it. And I'm like, you know what? That's good. You
Man
stand
stands on his
behind. You know what?
convictions.
We can disagree, but he stood on his convictions. So, I mean,
So,
That's what it is.
I mean, we all know who Charlie Kirk was. You just heard a few really gross quotes. The Michigan Republican Party held a vigil on the Capitol lawn for Charlie Kirk on Monday.
They're right to do.
Absolutely. So I think we all agree, free speech. I don't care what you say. You should be allowed to say it. Nobody should be shot because of
Right.
something they're saying. But we had legislators get up and memorialize Charlie Kirk, and they were, all very aligned with him and what he thought and said politically. So I'm just going to read a few things that our elected representatives said about him.
Great.
Representative Donnie Steele, who is in a swing district, I want to add, she started off her vigil by talking about an old song that had, she said, "Do you know what's wrong with the world today? Done put their Bibles away." I don't know. There was a lot of weird religious overtones.
Yeah.
And she also said Charlie Kirk's gift was to inform and not to offend. Okay, I'm sorry. A lot of the things
I
he
have
said
to
were very
disagree. I'm
offensive.
going to disagree with
Okay,
that.
Rep. Mike Hoadley, his district is a little up north, kind of like over the thumb. He said, Charlie talked about the decay of our society, and that decay boiled down to three basic circumstances of where we're at. When you look at what the left has done in our society, they've devalued life through abortion, desensitized death through video games and entertainment, and they've taken away religion.
Wait, the left is responsible for video games?
Yeah.
That was exactly my response when I heard it. It's like, do you know that video games are played all around the fucking world? Like, what, you think that the
It's
left
the
in
cabal.
America?
It's the leftist cabal.
He also said they can't handle freedom. Now, that's what we're up against.
Okay.
From the party who's trying to, literally outlaw everything.
I know. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
But yeah.
Difference
Yes.
between us and them is the right. We can control our emotions. We can handle the very freedom God gave us. And we
Okay.
can drive
Oh my
with that message.
I have never seen so many emotional men in my life. These people, do you think Donald Trump controls his emotions? No.
So, last quote from Mike Hoadley.
Most thin-skinned
My message
people.
for those who would have celebrated this tragedy, know that I only ask one thing. 5 minutes alone. I'm not the nice one. You killed the nice one.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If that does, okay. There's that adage that says, don't be the thermometer, be the thermostat. That's what we're kind of missing right now is we have a bunch of very thin-skinned people who are upset, rightfully so, about the murder of someone that was a provocateur and a podcaster and an social influencer in the right circles, right? But none of this does anything to advance a discourse that helps bring healing, reconciliation,
Right.
bipartisanship. Not that I'm the biggest bipartisan person. It doesn't do anything to turn the temperature down. It also completely discounts any of the gun violence that's also happening concurrently to what happened to Charlie Kirk, to the state legislators who were gunned down in their homes in Minnesota a few months ago, to the person who went to the CDC and shot it up because of he didn't like vaccines. Like, there is so much rhetoric that they are contributing to. They are putting twigs and logs on the fire, and they need to be called out for that.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we're doing right now. Josh Shriver says, Alyssa Slotkin dismisses Antifa as a, quote, a boogeyman who isn't there. Please, the government, the murder, the bloodshed, the destruction we see are not boogeymen. They're real, and our government must dissolve Antifa. And then he goes on
Okay.
to like a lot of religious ramblings.
Antifa means anti-fascist. It is not an organization.
Just behind us, actually, we are very anti-fascist.
I mean, maybe you guys are Antifa.
We've got the poster.
You've got the poster to prove
So
it.
this was rich, okay? Angela Regas got up and spoke.
Your favorite.
Now, you might remember Angela from her Facebook Live video while she was on her way to the insurrection, and she showed off her collapsible baton to everyone. So I want to hear this bitch talk about political violence, because she literally, took part in a coup to overthrow the government.
People were literally killed in political violence on January 6th. But they don't, that never actually happened.
No,
that's what they say
that
now.
was just a very, very calm tour.
It's just patriots visiting, doing a guided tour at the Capitol building.
I mean, she just rambled that how he was murdered for his beliefs and because children listened to him. And we're at a tipping point. This is a turning point. Angela, it was a turning point when you were on your way to D.C. We're a little past that right now.
I mean, it is called Turning Point USA. Like, I don't know.
Jason Wolford said, I want to remind you that Charlie was a peacemaker, not a peacekeeper, and that is what we need today. And then he goes on to quote Ephesians, a Bible verse, and says, put on the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth.
There is so much religion. There's so much religion in this as well, and everything that I've seen around this is really pointing towards this whole religious portion of it, like the white Christian kind of like
the Crusades.
It is.
It's the crusade against the left, and that's what they're saying.
And it doesn't matter what you do as long as you hold a Bible at the time. That's what I've worked out. You can hold a fucking AR-15 in one hand and a Bible in the other, and everything's fine.
Upside down. If you'll recall, Trump was holding Bibles upside down. I feel like if we're looking for the devil, there he might be. Either way, the whole week has been really hard. I definitely have felt a lot of feelings, a lot of conflicting feelings about the whole situation. Definitely don't want to see anybody die over any of this. Any words that should, we're speaking words here, people. Like, we don't need to pick up weapons over it. And, here are our state legislators having a vigil and whatever. I know that they went to vigils. There were vigils across the country for Charlie Kirk, but guess who wasn't spotted at any of those?
Yeah, Donald Trump was busy. He flew to his golf course in Bedminster, New Jersey, and decided to just take the weekend off.
Yeah, that was his vigil.
So I heard him interviewed, or a reporter asked him the question. It was a couple of days after he'd announced that the shooter had basically, his parents had turned him in. You know how he did that on Fox News. And so as soon as he found out it wasn't a raving leftist that had,
he was like,
the assassin.
I don't care anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I couldn't give a shit anymore. So literally he was asked, he was getting on the helicopter to start to go to the UK, and he literally said to him, yeah, Charlie Kirk, nice guy. Have you seen how the ballroom?
Starting the ballroom. They pulled up the trucks. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom.
He couldn't be bothered.
I mean, this whole trip to Buckingham Palace, I'm sure, is just recon for the ballroom, right?
Oh, exactly.
That's exactly what's happening.
It was fucking bizarre.
When we started this podcast, we were under the Biden administration. I think we were really hoping for a Kamala Harris administration. And I just definitely feel like every week it's like, oh no.
Are we losing you, Adrian? Are we losing
me? Because it's just gotten so much worse.
Too much dread.
Too much existential dread. I mean, it was dread before, but at least we could push the dread to the left. But okay, so
You know what's giving me a little joy right now?
Kash Patel?
No, it's the MAGA infighting online. So there's two camps right now. Okay. So we have half the MAGA influencers are out there talking about how, weeks before this happened, Charlie Kirk was flown out to Long Island where there was like a summit. They were like, he had been too anti-Israel vocally on his show.
Yeah.
And they were going to talk to him about it and reprogram him, if you will.
Okay.
And he went out there and was threatened with blackmail and all sorts of other things. Bibi Netanyahu offered him $150 million.
Holy shit.
It was like, this is all your money. You just have to be friendly to Israel.
Is it technically taxpayer
money? And he turned it down.
From the United States?
Probably.
So we have people like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, even Alex Jones right now are all like, Israel killed Charlie Kirk.
Oh,
we're going to get to the bottom of this. Like,
wasn't there like this whole conspiracy thing that came out too that Bibi was like saying like condolences for his death and he hadn't even died yet? This is unsubstantiated claims, but
so there's that camp, and then there's the other camp that knows like, okay, the left didn't do it, but we're going to say that anyway.
Right.
And they're just driving home that narrative.
Oh, they're going to use the pretext of like going after
the trans
nonprofits,
roommate.
And the trans roommate, the going after nonprofits and NGOs and foundations, like all of that. But I do want to say that I do find particular joy in Kash Patel, and that's where you were going to go with this because he's doing a hilariously bad job at his job.
It's almost a joke. It's like watching Keystone Cops. You guys probably too young, but Keystone Cops was like this cop. It was just hilarious. It's so funny. But I am really, honestly, I'm coming in here. I said to Gina, I'm coming in here having watched very little of anything. I really haven't taken much notice this week because my mental health is very important. But I did see an incredible post, which I loved, which is from John Borscheid, who said, breaking, the FBI, run by two podcasters, is actively investigating the murder of a third podcaster, while the vice president cosplays a fourth podcaster to host the show run by the third podcaster. The USA, brought to you by Squarespace, BetterHelp, and ExpressVPN.
I just want to all hail the podcasters.
All hail the podcasters. I don't think, I am not qualified to run the FBI. Okay? I know Kash Patel's worked
You've had a podcast for over a year and a half.
I have.
I'm fully qualified in
But
MAGA
this is maybe the difference between men and women, right? Men seem to think that they can be qualified to do all kinds of shit. The resumes that I get in sometimes for stuff, I'm like, no, honey, no.
Tell them you're dreaming.
Exactly. I am definitely not qualified to run the FBI just because I'm a podcaster. But I think what's funny is like Kash Patel's
You're right.
credentials.
We'll give you a job in the Fed instead.
Right. I'd much prefer that. I want to run the CDC. I do not have any kind of credentials for that at all. But what we know, like Kash Patel, he's under all kinds of scrutiny this week. Yeah. So in addition to kind of bungling this whole situation with Charlie Kirk.
And he knows it too. If you look at him, he's always looking like...
No, he always looks like that, Gina.
He looks like he's about to have like anxiety diarrhea any second. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like
I'm intimately aware. And yeah.
Anxiety
As
diarrhea.
a person with anxiety, 100%. And now I might have a little more empathy for Kash Patel. He's like popping Pepto before he gets in front of the camera.
But, I mean, let's remember that this started...
It's like half clenching, half like, oh, like nerves. I'm sorry.
But let's just point out what he fucking did was within minutes of Kirk being dead, he literally said, we've got the guy.
He tweeted
it. It's like, what the fuck? This is an entire government that's being run by fucking Twitter.
Yeah. I want to point out that initially they did like basically find an older gentleman in the crowd and tackle him to the ground. And they're like, we got the shooter. Now this older guy was in the crowd, did say it was me. He was basically running cover so the real shooter could get away.
Okay, I think
Really?
you may have
Yes.
seen that. That perhaps is in the
All right.
underground stuff
That's-
that's not substantiated.
No.
Really?
This
Oh,
is
wow.
this happened.
Okay, so
Okay,
there's
there you
this
go.
rando guy out there. Well, either way, Kash Patel bungling shit up because he's not qualified to
Yeah.
run the FBI. He's also on the Hill this week about the Epstein files. So, obviously we're focusing a little bit on Charlie Kirk here at the upfront of the show because this is huge and it's been in the media. But there's a lot of other things that happened because Kirk, his assassination kind of took top billing. So one of those things is the Epstein files. So Kash Patel is on the Hill this week getting pressed about the Epstein files and the fact that he's refusing to release any more information. He's put like 1,000 FBI agents on all of these documents. He's actually saying that's Pam Bondi's fault. So he's throwing her under the bus.
They were doing that for like a month.
Yeah.
They literally 24/7. They were literally going through.
See if they could find
Yeah.
Trump's name
Yeah.
somewhere, right?
And I think we mentioned that the other week and said, like, cue something bad happening because the whole of the fucking FBI.
We did say that.
We said that. I just
We
want to
did.
call out.
Absolutely.
I said that, cue something bad happening because, quite honestly, if the FBI is spending their entire time going through the Epstein files, what are they not doing? What are they missing?
Exactly. What situation is going to happen? And Adam Schiff and Cory Booker kind of went after Patel for all of this. Booker and Patel ended up like screaming at each other, which was very Jerry Springer. He called Adam Schiff a political buffoon. But, FBI agents have been fired, and all this Doge stuff that was happening a few months ago, they have fired a ton of FBI agents, and in addition to putting them off their core mission and onto these Epstein files. So, I don't know. The whole thing seems fucked. I know that there was some vote in the Senate, too, in the U.S. Senate about the Epstein files.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer forced a vote on it in the middle of the Kirk storm.
Good on you, Chuck. No, they voted to block the release of the files.
Yeah.
They voted to protect pedophiles. Can we just make that very clear? That's what they voted for. Like,
Yeah.
we keep covering up the
We
fact
said
that it's
we don't
protecting
care.
pedophiles.
We don't care who's in the files. I want to see all of it. Unread Act, all of it, release it all. We need to see what's happening. Okay, what else has been happening? We mentioned JD Vance hosted Charlie Kirk's show for 2 hours in the White House because what the fuck else has he got to do as the vice president?
Well, I mean, it is
Another podcaster.
That's right, exactly. It reminds us that honestly, the vice president is not the most important role in terms of what they do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I think he's here today, isn't he? JD Vance is.
He is.
Yeah.
So when you hear this tomorrow, JD Vance would have visited yesterday. He's in Howell, Michigan.
Of course, he's in Howell,
Right. That's the only place he goes.
home of the KKK.
So he's in Howell, Michigan, which is a very historically interesting place, we'll say. On a tour to kind of like promote the beautiful big bill.
The murder bill,
And
which
all the
already
bullshit.
passed. So
Yeah.
why are we promoting it?
They're just trying to.
There's clean up on aisle 5,
They're
right?
trying
This
to
is a
pret-
shitty bill.
Yeah.
You've got to go out there and do it. You come from the media, PR, marketing.
know.
You've got a shitty product. You've got to go out and fucking market it. You can't just let it sit on the shelf.
Well, it hasn't even come to fruition yet. They got a whole year until it starts really actively harming people. So JD Vance is here in Michigan, hanging out in Howell,
Yeah.
in Livingston County.
So he's just trying to talk about manufacturing jobs and how like great this bill is for the economy. But, if we want to talk about facts, we can talk about, manufacturing jobs in Michigan are down for the 4th month in a row. Housing costs are up by 5%. Michiganders have started getting letters from insurance companies letting them know like your premiums are going up.
12%. I just got that letter yesterday.
Most of them are going up from anywhere between 10 to 20%. So this is a shit bill. It's ridiculous. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
No, I mean they're gutting everything. So anything that was in a sector that was hoping to get some governmental help, unless it's defense, it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate. I know that JD Vance was also talking about on the Charlie Kirk show that he was covering on. They're trying to back into this whole idea of like nonprofits that are violent. That's what killed Charlie Kirk, which the pretext is that they were doing this anyway. They were going to come, the government was going to come after these left-leaning nonprofits anyway. They're always bringing up Soros and what's his foundation, the Open... Can't think of Soros.
We don't get money from
We don't get money from Soros. But now they're also, like, in addition to Soros's foundation, they're also talking about the Ford Foundation. And they're really going hard on Ford and some of the things that they support. Now, Henry Ford himself was a massive bigot and a big supporter of Hitler. So, maybe we'll come full circle here. Who knows? But basically, the Ford Foundation have really focused on underrepresented or minority group representation in education, science, policy making, those sorts of things. Democratic values, promoting engagement with other nations, sustaining human progress and achievement. Those are the things that they do.
And they are a massive foundation and it do have a very big impact.
One of the largest in the country, in the world.
Yeah. So it's like, anyway.
Yeah. So
it's
that's
all very frightening. But you're right. This is not new.
No.
This is almost being used as like an excuse.
They're backing into this and the connection is ridiculous. But grandma that we heard at the top of the show, I'm sure she's buying it hook, line, and sinker.
She's not full of hate at all.
No.
She's very happy. I can hear the joy in her voice.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So what else has happened while we've been all kind of focused on the other things?
250 legislators from across the country, roughly 5 from each state, are recently, during the Kirk storm, were welcomed to Israel by Netanyahu. It was the largest ever delegation, and he kind of had this conference where the banners all read 50 states, 1 Israel.
Oh,
and it was really weird. Like they were singing like "Someday Over the Rainbow." It was like really fucking creepy a little bit.
Like
from
Wizard
the Frog. No, from Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz.
Oh my God. And you're thinking Rainbow Connection.
Oh, right.
Which is a really good song, and I feel like I need to go listen to that.
It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
My favorite cartoon songs. I need you to explain this to me. I'm a dumb Australian. Can you tell me why 200? So who's paying for this?
Probably AIPAC or Israel.
Right. Okay. But to what end are they going there for? What would be the reason that 250 legislators... Just remember, we're paying their salaries whilst they're doing this, right?
Yeah,
so we have to always
paid.
remember they're getting paid by us as tax-paying Americans to spend their time in Israel. To what end?
I mean, I think we know what ends. Like they want all of these legislators to be pro-Israel legislators.
Right. Okay.
So like the legislation we're seeing go through Congress right now, like who was it that wanted to take away passports of all citizens who said anything against Israel?
I don't remember. It wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's not doing that.
Like things like that. Make it illegal to divest from Israel. Like, like this is the type of legislation they want to see on the local level as well as the federal level.
So they're basically probably going there to simply be shown, look, everything's okay. I mean, that's
they
what
all
they would
went
be
to
doing.
that wall and prayed together. Like,
Anyway.
Do you think they took them over to Gaza to see all the great work they're doing over there? Just curious.
All the bulldozing and bombing?
Yeah, the bombing, the bulldozing, the...
I don't know. That's a good question.
The genocide in general?
5 Michiganders went.
Do we know who?
I mean, I have a tentative list, but I have to get it confirmed before we name names. But it's Democrats and Republicans.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Great. So great. I mean...
A lot to say, but hard to say it. I
gotta get a new line of work. I think goat farm.
A goat farm?
Goats. You could do some goat yoga, goat hiking.
I was going to say, start with goat yoga.
Goat yoga, goat hiking, goat cheese. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I also need something that can sustain past the apocalypse here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Goats could probably do it.
Maybe goats.
Goats, yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of people from the right and the left who are kind of picking up and abandoning everything and going and living in the middle of nowhere. It's the summer of love, but now it's the summer of hate, I guess. Oh, man. Okay, so these legislators were hanging out with potentially AIPAC supported pro-Israel Bibi Netanyahu. Mm-hmm. We've also heard some recent audio about a specific U.S. Senate candidate that has been on the pod in the past.
That is correct.
Yes.
During the Kirk storm, as I'm now dubbing it.
Yes, the Kirk storm.
There was audio dropped, and it was all over Twitter claiming that. So, a guy named Rob Kalman, who was the former mayor of Kego Harbor, said that he had read Mallory McMurrow's AIPAC position papers and that they were terrific. Now, I just want to say that this was just some guy saying this on a recorded conversation, and we haven't seen any papers. We don't know that this is true or not, but this was all over Twitter the day Charlie Kirk was shot.
So this was a conversation that was intended to be private, but somebody recorded it and leaked it. If we're talking about AIPAC position papers, for those of you who are out in the universe and don't know, when candidates are seeking money when they're running for office, if they're seeking an endorsement or they're seeking support from like a UAW or a Planned Parenthood, for example, they have to fill out paperwork. They have to answer a lot of questions. They have to kind of show their position to these potential funders and supporters. So that's what we mean by like a position paper.
And I think the reason we're talking about it is because, one of the things we really focus on is, money in politics. And that's obviously a very big issue that we're collecting signatures for this year to try and get money out of politics here in Michigan as much as we possibly can. So Mallory McMorrow, who we're talking about, state senator, she has stopped basically taking PAC money. That's kind of one of her positions that she's holding at the moment. That's what she's...
So corporate PAC. I want to make that distinction to corporate PAC. Like if the Giffords Foundation offered her money through their PAC, she would take it.
Yeah.
If DTE offers her money, she will not take it.
Correct. So it's a corporate, which is the biggest issue, right?
Yeah.
Corporate PAC money is the biggest issue.
She has taken corporate PAC money in the past,
and
she said she's sworn off of it this year. So, the question is she going to take AIPAC money? Is AIPAC going to get involved in the U.S. Senate race here in Michigan?
So she did respond to the allegations that were posted on Drop Site News, and she said she has not filled out AIPAC position papers.
Okay. So this person may have been speaking out of turn. But we are keeping an eye on this.
Yeah.
Like, I do think it's important, and I want to speak to folks out there that I don't care which side you're on. If I've known you personally in the past, if you're going to take shitty money from shitty people, we're going to call you on it here. And we think AIPAC is shitty money, shitty people.
So Kalman and AIPAC have not responded to the news, so we don't know what they're saying on their side.
Oopsie.
But I have a conspiracy.
You keep adding conspiracies today.
Let's just point out.
Do we need a tinfoil hat?
Yes.
I was about to say,
put it on.
Please. I was about to say, please watch us on YouTube so you can see Gina's tinfoil hat, which we will actually.
We do. We're going to make one. I'm going to bring a whole roll of tinfoil next week.
So as somebody who's just terminally online, every time Haley Stevens posts anything on any site, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, whatever, the comments are all like, fucking people hate her online, right? Like there's nothing positive that she gets back online. And it's always AIPAC tracker and, AIPAC girl and this and that. I think...
Here's your conspiracy.
This is my conspiracy, okay? And there's absolutely zero facts behind it.
Don't let the facts get in the way of
a
good story.
Entertainment podcast.
I feel like Haley takes so much shit from AIPAC that she's looking for kernels, like, to have some cover from Mallory. Like, she wants to pass the stink onto Mallory somehow.
So you think that's who
So
leaked?
I think Haley's digging up information, looking to see, trying to get information about Mallory going to Israel or Mallory doing AIPAC stuff, like anything with them out there. So they share the stink.
So there is two things. Like, she has either planted this Rob Kelman, who maybe said that, or she sent someone in to record it. That's kind of like, that's
how
a
many
conspiracy.
people were there? Like, that's the thing.
Or she found out about the recording and gave it to Drop Site News.
Maybe.
There you go.
I wouldn't put it past her. I did just say that out loud. But this is politics. Like, this is what it is. It gets dirty.
this is opposition work. This
Yeah.
happens in campaigns.
Yeah.
It's
All the
totally
time.
normal thing. Every campaign does it. They all try to dig up dirt on their competitors,
That's
whether
right.
it's their Democratic competitors in a primary or their, in the general, the Republicans versus the Dems. Like, this is something that's done.
It's dirty business.
It is dirty business,
Dirty business.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
for the faint of heart
That's why-
or the thin-skinned.
Well, apparently there's a lot of thin-skinned people in politics. I mean, we've worked with almost 200 candidates in the last 8 years. We are now very selective about who we work with that's a candidate. I do not take on just anybody anymore because it is a lot. It's a lot of mental health issues working with candidates. Like, you also bring candidates in who you think are sharing your values. And then we've had a couple instances in the past where poof, surprise, they're saying to people, oh yeah, I'm definitely pro-choice. And then they come back to us and say, well, I'm personally pro-life. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
That makes you anti-choice?
That
by
makes you
definition?
anti-choice. And like, so candidates are a certain type of archetype of people. There's a certain type of people who want to run for office. If you're listening to this, you should run for office so we can start getting rid of some of these other
People,
folks.
oh my God.
Yeah.
We so need.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
And
We need
going
fresh
back
blood.
to our discussion about the podcasters, don't think for a minute that you're unqualified because
Because you absolutely are. We've had sprinkler repairmen who have won office seats in the state
Exactly.
legislature because Jesus told them.
I mean,
to run.
Angela Regas is a hairdresser.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong
Nothing
with
wrong
that.
with
Good
that.
for you, girl. That's great.
Cash Patel is a podcaster.
Right.
So it's like
He
let's
did have
start-
a law background, but nah.
Once again, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
That's right. Oh man. So what else has happened under the radar this week?
We have had some wins.
This is it. I don't know if I'm going to classify this as a win, but the bar is very low right
Correct.
now. So why don't you all just tell us what you think this win is? And
Well,
all.
I think we spoke about last week and the week before. We were talking about Trump basically going into Chicago,
Yes.
threatening to go into Chicago, threatening to go into New York, threatening to go into Detroit, come here to Detroit.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of that going around. And I think just in this last week, he's decided that he's backing off Chicago and he's going to go to Memphis instead, which is just to point out that Chicago is a blue city in a blue state, right?
Dude, pussied out.
It's so funny because I was actually up north this past weekend, presenting at a session. And at lunch afterwards, the people that I went to lunch with actually used to live in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago.
Oh.
And they were saying to me, he's not going to do this because all the different and gangs are a thing in Chicago, right?
Yes,
that is
they are.
real.
There
That
is-
is real.
Any
There
big city has that, like a crime ring element.
They
Whether
do.
it's a gang
You're
or
never gonna get rid
a
of it.
mob type
Yeah.
situation.
And Chicago historically has had the mob, there's the Irish, there's all sorts of different
Third largest
groups.
city in the country.
Correct. And there's a whole lot of groups. And basically, this guy was saying to me, these guys, all the leaders of the different mobs and gangs have basically got together and go, fuck no.
It's bad for business.
Come have it, mate. Come have it. Like, it's not going to happen.
when you have the governor basically
Fuck no.
he was like trolling Trump and
He
like, yeah,
was.
fucking
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
See
Come
what's
have it,
gonna
man. Come
happen.
have it. Yeah, no. And I think that really what I want to say, and because what we've been talking about is the fact that people need to push back. We need to stop ceding ground and start pushing back. And I think the lesson from this is a combination of the community, the people, leaders in the community, as well as the politicians going, not on my watch. Try.
Yeah.
See what happens. And I think that was really, really exciting.
Well, the reason why it is a win. I think it's definitely a win for Chicago and all the people that push back on that. I think the fact that they're still going anywhere is problematic. I mean, they're going to Memphis, and Pam Bondi said Chicago should be begging Donald Trump to help to keep Chicago safe, yet they aren't. So we're going to a city who wants us there. It's like,
Memphis is a blue city in a red state.
Right.
That's part of it, right?
And it's a very black
It
city.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. All these cities, what do they have in common? A majority black.
they're a majority
When you
black
have-
population.
Yeah, yeah. When you look at like DC, Detroit, Chicago, now Memphis, like all of these places.
Yeah,
kind
they're
of-
melting pots.
They are, yeah.
Big immigrant populations.
Yep.
People of color.
Yeah.
Again, this kind of goes back to what we did speak about last week is it's not going to help in the long run if you're sending armed National Guard in. What helps in the long run is building structures and foundations for people to thrive, for people to get out of poverty, to make sure that they have economic stability, access to health care, access to education, those sorts of things. You know, bringing the price of fucking groceries down. I got to go to, the store and get some orange juice. It's like $7.
Yeah.
Like, sending the National Guard in is not going to solve Memphis's problems in the long run. It's only going to drive certain criminal elements underground even further.
But in good
Absolutely.
news,
Oh, boy.
Josh Shriver has the answer to all of this.
This
Our
is-
local.
This is his answer to all of our problems.
If we just banned porn, everything would be A-okay.
I think
Often
it's going to
thought
make
about
things worse. It's going to make things worse. You think about all the, the shooters in this country, the white 20-somethings. You're going to take porn away from them?
Like, low key, I really feel like half of it, like, he does this to rage bait, number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Nobody paid any attention to this guy. He's a younger legislator. Nobody gave a fuck until he came out as, like, the craziest cook in the kitchen, basically. Like, just writing really weird legislation that nobody asked for.
He's a state representative.
Yes, from Oakland
Just to be-
County.
just to be clear.
And he's a guy, like, they love to talk about small government all the time, but, like, Josh has written, like, many ban bills where,
Yeah.
like, he just wants government up your anus, basically. He wants
them in
he
your
wants
bed
to
with
get
you.
in your bed. He wants to see what you're doing.
Here's what I will say about porn is that obviously it comes from, some of it comes from a problematic place, right? So how about we talk about regulation around the porn industry?
Yeah.
People are going to get porn regardless of if you ban it or not. That's just like religion and government getting into your bed sheets with you. He's such an odd duck. Like, dude had too much acid when he was at Michigan State.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, excuse
No,
me.
let's just talk about that for a second. There was a Reddit thread
Yes.
where somebody posted something about Josh Shriver, and people who knew him in college just kind of jumped right in and were like, he used to do all these drugs. Like,
Allegedly.
he lived in a house, like, kind of like a frat house situation. It was a house with like 20 other guys, and like some of those dudes were writing in talking about
They were
like,
talking about it on Reddit. If you want to go find it, it's out there. You can search Shriver. Yeah, so the porn bans, the LGBTQ bans, the book bans. If it's a ban, Josh Shriver is all about it.
Loves a good band.
He loves a good band for sure. Is he married?
He is married, but he's so fucking weird. I don't. Do you guys remember the time that he posted about being the like Oxford JV women's basketball coach or something? Like, he tweeted how he got this new coaching job, and then people started calling the school, being like, this guy is posting about great replacement theory, like all of the worst conspiracies he's subscribing to. We don't want him anywhere near children. I called up the school, and the athletic director was like, I can't be more clear about this. He does not work here. We've never offered him a job. I don't know why he said that.
And I just want to point out, you're not talking about Oxford
Delulu.
University. You're talking about Oxford High
High
School.
school.
Yeah, in Oakland
yeah,
County.
right.
In Oakland
and
County.
For a moment, I'm like, he went to Oxford
Yes.
University.
Did he do this after the shooting that happened there, or before?
I think it was after.
I think it was after.
What?
It was after.
It was just like a year or two
Yeah.
It's
ago.
a little Delulu. This gentleman is
Might have been in
definitely-
2023.
It's definitely post-pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, we've got escalating prices everywhere, people really needing help and assistance from the government. We've got an imminent government shutdown, both federally and state. And he's like, you know what's going to solve it all? Let's ban porn. So
I feel like if he actually went ahead with that, he'd get beaten up a lot, even by his own friends in the house. Like,
maybe he needs to
seriously.
talk to Mike Johnson. Maybe he has a porn
Ooh,
problem.
Yeah,
And him and
maybe
Mike
he needs
Johnson.
that app.
He needs the app. They can check in with each other.
Speaking of checking in, do you guys remember when Elmo posted "How is everyone doing?" and then we learned that like most of the country is not okay right now?
No, I'm worse.
Let's do a little Elmo check-in. Like, Adrian, how are you doing?
Bad.
Okay.
I've had a tension headache for a week. I not great. No, I keep starting to think maybe this is all a simulation, and that's the only thing that it's getting me through.
What are you doing to stay sane?
Well, I'm trying to find like little glimmers and little hopes and joy here and there. So today I was driving into the office and I'm like, I'm going to listen to some 90s pop music. Like Gina and I went to 9 Inch Nails a few weeks ago. There's been a lot of 9 Inch Nails in my rotation lately.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rage in 9 Inch Nails, which is good. But today I just needed some bubblegum shit. So it was like In Sync and Nelly Furtado and like some of that stuff. It was great. Flo Rida. It was like, what can I put on to make me feel a little better? And that definitely helped. That soundtrack was great.
I love it.
Also
Julie?
sex. Sex has been helpful too.
But not porn.
But not porn. No.
Me. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not doing great. I have to admit, I'm not doing
sorry.
good at all. But so I am, first of all, trying to avoid as much as I can taking deep dives. And I feel really bad for you, Gina, because I know that that's impossible for you in so many ways. So I am really trying hard not to deep dive into social media. But I have to give you a bit of a shout out, Adrian, because this morning you made my morning.
I'm so glad.
I saw on your Instagram stories. So I am still looking at stories and stuff, but I'm trying not to go down into the scrolling piece of it. So in Instagram stories, you had this little kid from the UK on the BBC who is doing pesto cheese roll-ups. He was so cute.
Carter.
Yeah, Carter. That's right. He was such a cutie. So that gave me a bit of joy. But I also saw someone else. So this is me drawing joy from other people. But someone else, and I can't remember who it was, put something on their Instagram stories which was along the lines of, you have to plan the joy as you never know when the next shitstorm is going to happen. And that really resonated with me because, as you both know, I always plan joy. I am a planner, making sure that we always have vacations and little bits of joy along the way. So that's big for me. And also music. When I get a little bit stressed, I've got a playlist, which was all songs that remind me of my late dad. And I tend to listen to that a lot. So I'm listening to a lot of Don McLean, Billy Joel, like a lot of kind of like that kind of stuff. So that's
Dad music.
Dad music,
You're
it
listening to the
is.
good
And
dad music.
sometimes it makes me cry, sometimes it makes me laugh. So
Good.
it's good. So yeah, what about you, Gina? Thanks for checking in, by the way.
Well, this week I've been swimming again because it's been nice and warm and in the 80s.
Because it's hell.
So I've
you can
just
swim.
I've been swimming, just trying to get in the pool with the kids, like that one last time of the season. Online shopping, unfortunately. A little retail therapy always helps.
Get your dopamine where you can.
Although I have to say my husband is not fond of that hobby of mine. I've been listening to music too. Like, for some reason I started listening to like Bjork again.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's my rotation is so weird and my kids have like noticed and they're like, what is this music, Mom?
Oh my God. I need to listen to Bjork. It's been so long.
It's like Downward Spiral and then Bjork and then like fucking Sabrina Carpenter. It's like so weird.
I mean, I think there's like this nostalgia too of like to the 90s. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, everything felt like a lot simpler in the 90s.
I think that's what it is. Just like when you really just hadn't a care in the world, really.
It is so funny though because I keep thinking about how bad we thought things were 5 months ago or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, it can't get worse. It can't, we were spending time on Doge and, talking to people that have lost their jobs and like all that is still real. So that's kind of the hard part is like, oh God, it's for me personally, it's not as bad as it is for others. So I really try and keep that in my brain that, there are people that are suffering far more than I am. But for those of us with empathy,
it's hard.
it's really fucking hard.
It's hard out there. It's hard.
We
hard
went
out
on
there.
a spa retreat and I've been trying to like recreate and relive that like this past week where like
How's that going for you?
with the swimming and like
Yeah.
the like I have this huge like soaking tub at home, and it's like just putting the salts in there and just anything I can do. Like I don't know, I got to go make a appointment for the cupping and like the hot stone massage.
Yeah. I've been going back to the bathroom that I turned into a spa. Well, it's definitely not a spa, but I made it
For Broke Girl Summer.
For Broke Girl Summer. And yeah, I've been going back to that as well. So anyway, we've got to do what we can do.
Yeah, out there, if you are listening in on this and you want to leave in the comments what you are doing, we are taking all ideas for how you're coping with this time.
I also want to know what your favorite conspiracy is.
So we can pass the tin hat around.
Yes, pass the tin
So
hat.
if you have one, leave it in the comments.
Yeah. I wanted to give a big shout out. I'm spending a lot of time with we've got over 500 volunteers that are collecting signatures for both Invest in
You know
My
what,
Kids.
Julie? I'm glad you bring this up because this is like the one thing I feel like we're working on that's actually going to make a difference. These citizen-led initiatives that are really like plugging the holes that our legislators just haven't been able to do for whatever reason. So like Invest in My Kids, which is taxing the 1% to give $1 billion annually to our public schools, or MMOP, which is getting money out of government. So people like DTE who have contracts, they can't be donating to our like elected officials anymore. Yeah. And I feel like this is where the joy is in politics right now. It's like the people-powered movements getting stuff done because, you talked about the government shutting down on both the federal and state level. Like, it's a screeching halt right now, and like citizen-led initiatives like this is where it's at right now.
So big shout out to our over 500 volunteers around the state. I'm running trainings actually 3 times a week at the moment, with in-person and 2 on Zoom. Per week, and it's to the 68 distributors, the leaders around the state, everywhere from Grand Rapids to Muskegon to Marquette. We've got people all over the state that are really busting their asses to get out there and do that. So I just want to give a shout out to them and remind people, go onto our website, distillsocial.com, and you can sign up there.
If you go to the petitions tab. You can learn a little bit more about the initiatives and sign up to volunteer with us. You can also download our app. It's in the Android and Apple stores. And you can get our podcast, get our Substacks, like all of that stuff right on the app in one place.
You can. So shout out to those volunteers. They are making me happy. It's a little bit of joy that I get each and every day. And shout out to the team in Distill Social that are also doing a shit ton of work behind the scenes to make it happen. So there you go.
Props to everyone. Well, we've made it through another week here on the Point of Disorder podcast. Really appreciate you all tuning in. Don't forget to leave us a like, a comment, a review. Make sure to subscribe, tell your mom, whatever you got to do. And make sure, above all, to stay healthy out there, stay sane. It's hard and trying times, but we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.